After the recent patch, I'll admit that I was a bit disappointed, not just from the lack of character changes, but also the lack of changes to the core gameplay mechanics, which we were told would be changed in some ways. However, these core gameplay changes didn't happen, which is a shame, because I think just a few small changes could benefit the game in a big way. So I'd like to discuss these changes today. Please keep in mind that I'm not a game developer, I'm just a guy with a huge passion for fighting games and a ton of experience playing them. Alright, so without any further ado, let's discuss these ideas. Change number 1. Make Vanish a bit weaker. I'm perfectly okay with Vanish extending combos or punishing the opponent from a distance, but the fact that it's plus on block is a bit much to me, especially in a game with so many different ways to extend block strings. It's honestly quite frustrating to block a long string, then correctly block the Vanish on reaction, only to keep blocking afterwards. It honestly feels like the game is punishing you for blocking correctly, since getting hit by the Vanish would actually give you more breathing room and also prevent you from getting hit by a more damaging combo. So I personally think it makes more sense to have Vanish be minus on block. Not punishable, mind you, but just minus enough to get your turn back after blocking correctly. This would be a nice reward for having good defense, instead of being punished with more blocking. And perhaps the Vanish could still be plus on block during Sparking Blast, that way the opponent has more ways to pressure the opponent. But as it stands right now, the Vanish is a bit too strong in my opinion. Change number 2. Make Super Dash easier to counter. The Super Dash mechanic is honestly quite crazy. There is really nothing like it in any other fighting game. This simple input tracks the opponent's location, blows through most projectiles, and even avoids most low attacks. It also has good priority as well. In other words, it's a very strong move. I've even seen this move cross up the opponent, or even spin completely around to hit the opponent. Now thankfully, this move can be countered with a down heavy attack, but here's the problem. It doesn't always work. You see, normally a down heavy attack is fully immune to air attacks, as long as the opponent hasn't already hit you. However, a Super Dash can actually beat a down heavy during its startup, which can be very frustrating when you do a down heavy on reaction and still lose to a Super Dash anyway. I personally think the down heavy should win every time. That way you can counter a Super Dash on reaction. This would also make the Super Dash less abusable in most situations. In other words, the Super Dash would be like paper, and the down heavy would be like scissors. The down heavy would win every time. Change number 3. Make the universal overheads minus on block. Most overheads in other fighting games are fully punishable on block. However, they're actually neutral in fighters, which means the opponent can keep attacking you even if you block the overhead correctly. And while the player does have options after blocking it, it's always a guessing game. You can try and reflect, but that just resets things back to neutral. Plus, the opponent can actually throw you if they predict this. Now you could try backdashing instead, and that would avoid the throw and certain follow-ups. However, the opponent can use certain attacks that will still reach you, which means you still get punished for a full combo. This is why I think overhead should be minus on block. Not fully punishable, but just minus enough to give the player their turn back. Once again, this would be a nice way of rewarding the player for good defense. Plus, the opponent could still use assists to keep the pressure going. Change number 4. Give less priority to Dragon Rush. Since Dragon Rush has good range and leads to a short combo, it's kinda crazy how it can beat normal attacks as well, especially since there are so many throw setups in the game. Now typically, most fighting games with throws this strong have them lose to normal attacks. Basically, the throws only work if the opponent is blocking. If the opponent does any attack at all, then the throw won't work. And I personally think this change would help balance the Dragon Rush, since it's already so powerful during block strings, especially with the right setups. With this slight nerf, it would be less powerful in the neutral, since the opponent can counter it by attacking. As it stands right now, I think the Dragon Rush is just a bit too strong. Change number 5. I don't have one, so I'm gonna leave this one up to you. What change would you like to see in Dragon Ball FighterZ? I honestly had a hard enough time coming up with 4. That's how solid this game truly is, and once again, these changes are just my opinion. I honestly do think the game is fine where it is, but it doesn't really feel like it rewards players for having good defense, which can be a bit frustrating in a game with so many crazy offensive options. At any rate, thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and while you're down there, go ahead and post a comment too. What changes would you like to see in Dragon Ball FighterZ? And if you haven't already, please subscribe and hit the bell. That way you never miss a future video. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs!